हेलो गाइस, गुड इवनिंग। वेलकम बैक टू ट्रेड टैक्टिक्स ब्रो। आज हम बैंक निफ्टी की एनालिसिस करेंगे। देखते हैं इस वीक Feb 7 की एक्सपायरी बैंक निफ्टी को कहाँ हो सकती है। और फ्राइडे को हमने दोनों साइड के मूव्स देखे हैं बैंक निफ्टी में, स्पेशली एक गजब की रैली गैप अप के बाद, और वही समवेयर वो लेवल्स ब्रीच होते हुए भी दिखे हैं हमें। तो ये वोलेटिलिटी में हम क्या कर सकते हैं बैंक निफ्टी में। और अगर आप नोटिस करोगे, बैंक निफ्टी 30 मिनट्स की चार्ट पे कहीं ना कहीं इस ट्रेंड लाइन को रेस्पेक्ट करते हुए ग्रेजुअली हायर हाई हायर लोअर हाई की फॉर्मेशन बनाते हुए ऊपर जा रहा है। तो मंडे के लिए एक ऑब्जर्वेशन आप आपने करनी चाहिए, जो है अगर आप देखोगे ये फॉल से एक अच्छी खासी रिट्रेसमेंट हो चुकी है। राइट, अगर मैं यहाँ से कहीं लेता हूँ जो फिब लेवल था, राइट, ये जो बेरिश ट्रेंड था वो ये ब्रेकआउट के बाद खत्म होते हुए दिखा है। और कहीं ना कहीं हमें 0.6 लेवल पे रिजेक्शन मिला, और जो सबसे हाई पॉइंट था उसे ब्रीच करते हुए 786 से भी रिजेक्शन मिला। तो हमें मंडे को एक चीज़ देखनी चाहिए कि अगर 45,800 नीचे की तरफ ब्रेक होता है तो हम इजीली स्लिप हो सकते हैं 45,500 तक, और अपना नेक्स्ट टारगेट रहेगा 45,000 का। पर गिवन द स्ट्रक्चर जो बैंक निफ्टी ने बनाया है in the last few trading sessions, it's a perfect higher high formation, right? So अगर आपको इस ट्रेंड लाइन पे कहीं मिलता है, my suggestion would be to try to take a long entry from if you find market at 45,800 or so, right? So कल के लिए we will keep things very very simple. Let's remove the fib retracement, राइट। सो अगर आप 5 मिनट्स की चार्ट क्लोजली एनालाइज करोगे, तो ये जो ट्रेंड लाइन अगर आप मार्क करोगे इस चैनल में, तो वी आर समवेयर अप्रोचिंग दैट ट्रेंड लाइन। तो मंडे को आपको कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ी सी गैप अप लग रही है, क्योंकि डाउ जोन्स 135 पॉइंट्स पॉजिटिव क्लोज हुआ है। तो बैंक निफ्टी फॉर ऑल कुड ओपन somewhere here, right? Somewhere here, and then face a rejection, breaching the low and coming towards the trend line somewhere here. So this would be a perfect buying opportunity for you in Bank Nifty अगर कल ऐसे कुछ होता है, right? If this and depending on the price action, you could see Bank Nifty again going back to its high, probably breaking its higher high. So don't analyze the market's direction for tomorrow. Currently, there was a very very sharp selling from the top, right? So till it's in this range, do not take a long trade. My advice would be to sell on the higher side till you break out of this trend line. So this is a very very sharp trend line, which generally happens when there is a sharp fall. Right, so keep things simple. Tomorrow, I see Bank Nifty trading between 45,800 to 46,346. This 500 range somewhere is going to be the range of consolidation for Bank Nifty, like this area right here, right? So anywhere, whenever market is stuck around this level, it takes a lot of time before it makes a move on the upside or downside. But the interesting fact that you have to understand is, just like in Nifty, Bank Nifty also is stuck in a channel wherein, if you notice this move from here, right, to here, there's about 3,000 point range that you see from, and it's now shrunk and come closer to that 1,000 mark. So these points have significantly reduced, and I think after Friday's session, we are barely left with any further range. So 1,000 points is what we are looking at, Bank Nifty, for the entire week next week, for consolidation before you see a bigger move on the upside or on the downside, right? So please make sure you're trading within your range. And my advice is, if you find market anywhere between 45,938 to 46,167, please do not trade in this region. I will just put that as no trade or NTZ here. And if you get a breakout here, it's a simple scalp for you to go up to the 346, but your ultimate target will be the trend line once this breaches. So somewhere, tomorrow is going to be interesting for Bank Nifty. Agar we break out of this channel, we are in for a very very big move on the upside and on the downside. So positionally as well, you could enter into a long or a short trade, and the targets on the downsides are ridiculously high, and same goes with the targets on the upside, right? So if you notice on a daily time frame, let me just remove the drawings. So on a daily time frame, Bank Nifty is following this particular trend line, right? So till it's in this V-shape recovery form, we are not going to short the market, but somewhere, market has kind of challenged this level thrice already. So somewhere, if it's able to take another support and go up, for all you know, you might end up coming back to fill this gap, which is long overdue. So there was a gap of over 900 points which was pending. It could fill in, and we could see an all-time high too. But if that doesn't happen, if we breach out of this trend line, then we are in for a bigger targets on the downside. So the first target could be as good as the 45,000 itself, and then slipping down to 44,400 or 44,444, and then the final target going down to 42,000. So the targets are quite steep on the downside as well as on the top. So give or take, you may see a 3,000 point move on the upside, and 3,000 point on the downside move when you're looking at a breakout or a breakdown from this trend line. But on a daily basis, there is a very very strong bearish candle that is formed on a daily chart. However, the good thing is it has not breached the low of the day, which we've created on 31st Jan. So it's still there is a way to look at it. Somewhere there was a strong lower high lower low formation here, and from here on the trend was reversed as soon as it broke out of this range. So somewhere this was a very very interesting area of interest for Bank Nifty, this 45,800 zone. And once it broke out, it kind of retraced back. This is a perfect opportunity if you're a buyer to take a long trade, depending on the price action that it creates for the next week. But on a 15-minute chart, there is no change in terms of the structure, right? Although we have fallen down from a massive level of 48,000, now we have slowly transitioned this into from a bearish to a bullish structure. So if you notice, there was a lower low here, and then a high, then a higher low and a higher high, and then somewhere we have created another higher high with a low. So this low, if it's breached, and if we are kind of retracing back to this level, somewhere it is a formation of an M, and you might see a quick scalp on the upside, basis this move, right? So you could see a perfect making of M here. If this range breaks out, you could see similar target what you have here on the downside. So your targets are quite rewarding on both upsides and downside. So as we discussed, we are looking at a 44,625 to 44,500 range. So these are quite big targets on the downside as well as on the top. And if you look at it, it perfectly kind of fits our gap filling zone 2 on the upside. So be prepared. We could be in for a really really good uh, transition of Bank Nifty as it climbs higher. So one thing you have to understand is a falling market is always a profitable market than for the option buyers than a market that is kind of climbing towards the top, because these are the wild moves. The retracement kind of makes the option buyers panic if they are option buyers to take the market on top. But you have to understand is these are the trend lines which give you an opportunity to buy, and your stop losses are very very minimal below this. So somewhere this becomes a very very key zone of interest. So till Bank Nifty is above 45,690, I would not potentially enter into a trend which is on the downside. But if this breaks down, which means this entire move of higher high higher low pattern is invalidated, and we are now again continuing the bigger trend, which is a low, a lower high, and a kind of a lower low pattern. So be prepared from both the directions perspective. Again, it's going to be really really interesting. Again, I feel there is a lot of opportunity for us to kind of look at Bank Nifty from a channel perspective. Currently we are looking at Bank Nifty trading in this channel. So this is a really you know uh, volatile channel, I would call it. So somewhere if you're finding market around this midpoint is where I would exit the trade. If it's retraced above this point, I would exit, wait for a price action to see if it comes down. If it breaches above this line, we would see Bank Nifty again trying to go up to that zone of 47,000. So this 1,000 points range is what you have to watch out for in Bank Nifty for next week. And well, if you haven't watched our Nifty analysis, please do, because we've discussed some of the stocks that have major contributions in moving bank nifty as a whole. And we will quickly discuss hdfc bank as well, as to what it's kind of doing after the major sell off from the date of result, right? So somewhere, if you see, this is a really really good consolidation zone for um, you know HDFC, even though you see 20 points lower, but I would say it's a really, really good consolidation. And after this move, if it has to sell off, it would have continued to drop down. But somewhere, this is a very, very good, perfect buying opportunity. If you see again here as well, there was a after the fall, we've seen a high and then a lower low there. Then again, we kind of retraced, and this entire zone is kind of volatile for HDFC. So till HDFC is trading between this range 1427 to 1480, this 50-point range will actually decide the direction of Bank Nifty as well. So somewhere you see there's a perfect channel and support trend that is following. Somewhere you could see HDFC just spiking above from this level itself. So be prepared, or if this breaks down, you could be in for a quick scalp of 1426 and towards the downside of 1379. However, my anticipation is it could challenge this level first, 1480, before it decides whether to make a higher move or a lower move from there. So keep HDFC on your watch list. It's looking really interesting. Somewhere there was a change of structure on HDFC. If you look, there was a high, then a lower, higher low, then a higher high, and then this low shouldn't have been breached. However, there is a strong buying candle that has kind of pulled HDFC out of this entire bear zone. So that trend line is somewhere still active. So on a daily time frame, HDFC does not look bearish at this point till it's above this range, right? So it could be considered as a perfect breakout, and then a retracement, and for all you know, it could just go up. So till HDFC is above 1437, please do not think of going on a bearish trend, because somewhere it's at a really really attractive price for a buyer. And you may see a bigger moves coming on the upsides, because bottom, there are very 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 few points remaining from a stop loss perspective at bottom as well. But you see some wild moves happening, and this has always been an area of interest. If it breaches, you are in for a bigger target on the downside. So you could slip down to 1300 as well, if we kind of break down of 1375 levels. So keep an eye out for bank nifty. It's really, really looking interesting from the trend perspective. We are making a high, and then we are retracing back, and then a perfect high once again. So this could be somewhere a making of an M, right? Or for all you know, it could complete a W from here. All right. So if you remove this, you are in for a perfect W. So be prepared for both the sides. You are in for a pretty decent targets, I would say. At least the range what you see from this box, roughly you are in for at least a 1300 kind of a points to begin with, once it breaks out of the range. But this range in itself is huge, right? And if you see, the range is shrinking on the downside, it's shifting higher, while the higher as well are kind of expanding on the top. So we are looking at a potential move of at least to this high of 1447 to 40 for the week. So you could see bank nifty trending between 46,000, or let's call it 45,800 to 47,200. This 1,400 points range will be kind of the direction will decide the direction of the market. So my only advice is, try to sell on the higher levels, because if you see, each time an index has kind of climbed up, there is a huge selling. So selling selling, so your risk to reward on top on as a seller is higher compared to a buyer, right? So if you buy here somewhere on a Friday, then you're stuck with barely anything, right? And the way you've seen the downfall, you barely have a chance of even reacting, or averaging out, or coming back into profit anytime soon. So this trend, for all you know, could continue. But looking at Dow Jones, we see a positive opening for Bank Nifty tomorrow. So please mark your levels. This area of interest will be 45 or 46,000 to 48 45 800. This 200 points range will decide the direction of the market for Bank Nifty tomorrow. Please scalp your levels. You see a 300 points to 350 point range on the upside and downside if it breaks down. So please book your profits, and or try to reduce your lot by 60 to 70% uh, in terms of booking the profit. Don't keep the entire green dashboard on hold, because for all you know, you might anticipate the market could go higher, but ultimately you will be in a losing trade. So please make sure your stop losses are in place, and most importantly, you're trailing those stop losses as we move higher. So please watch out for this level tomorrow. In case if we go above this level, we could meet around 46,500 once again, and depending on the price structure, uh, we may either face resistance here and come back to this trend line once again, or we could break out of it. Because if you look at it, this kind of jumped up because of a gap up here, but from a price action perspective, from an high we made a low. Now market will come back to retest the previous drop. So somewhere 46,500 could be an area of interest tomorrow itself in Bank Nifty. For all you know, market could just come there and see if it's able to hold those levels, or go above it. But failing, please have a smaller stop losses on top, and try to take a short trade here towards the retracement channel of 46,000. So you could see a 500 points move from the bottom to the top, and consolidating in this range till we have clear direction, right? And also I would like to remind you, I'm not SEBI registered or your financial advisor. If you're considering investing in stock market or taking position in the FNOs or derivatives, please consult your financial advisor before you make any such moves. Markets are really volatile, and any wrong choices could impact a major financial loss in your portfolio. So please be aware of this, and please trade responsibly. And from an option chain perspective, I don't see a huge change from the option chain perspective. However, I feel that somewhere 46,000 is going to be the decider, or the direction for the week. So if we are above 46,000, we could be in, if you look at it, there is some heavy call writing happening at 47,000 as well, and 46,500. So there is a 500 point jump after every level. So there are bigger risk to rewards on top, as well as in bottom. So if you see, there are 118,000 contracts and 111,000. So there is some short sort of put sellers here still. However, we've seen some good unwinding as well happening. So there is aggressive put writing around 45,000 and 45,500, with a decent difference between them. From an OA perspective, I feel somewhere we are still bearish, because if you see the contracts is higher, and we are at 0.77 from put call ratio. So for all you know, you could see the market continuing on the downside if we are not able to sustain the gap up, like what happened here, right? We sustained the gap up. We kind of trapped the put buyers here, and then jumped up and then came back in the same direction. So you could see similar move. You could see Bank Nifty looking like it's rallying on top, but ultimately coming back and testing this trend line of 46,000. So 46,000 to 46,500 is the range that you need to watch out for tomorrow. If you're getting a dip at 45,800 to 45,600, it's a good dip to buy. But beyond that, you are in for a bigger move on downside. So your first level itself is 500 points down, which is at 45,000, and you could see a further downfall if this move goes breaching it. So you need to watch out both the sides, be prepared, and please be extra cautious when you are in a directional trade. If you're an option seller, if you have sold a range from 47,000 to 45,500, you could uh, deploy various bunch of strategies to make sure you're profitable end of the day. But for an option buyer, it's really difficult, especially given the ups and downs that are happening in this zone. So this is a highly volatile zone, but what we can learn is this trend line is somewhere a strong support, which is kind of making the index go higher at a higher time frame. So that's all from my end on Bank Nifty, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. In case if you have any questions, or if you'd like me to analyze any other chart, please feel free to drop in a comment. It's a sincere request that you like, comment, and share this video with your friends if you think it may help them out with their trades, or their analysis or learnings. And if there's anything that you would like me to deploy from a strategy perspective, we will definitely do that in our following sessions. But I hope you've enjoyed this content, and looking forward for a great session on Monday. I wish you all the luck, and please trade responsibly. Thank you, guys.